Hello and welcome to Huddersfield Town's post-match show in association with Sportsbroker after a 1-1 draw with Sheffield Wednesday. To talk us through the action, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Huddersfield Town legend Andy Booth and Huddersfield Town's lone manager David Fox. How are you both? You okay?
Good, Adam, thank you.
Excellent. Boothy, I'll start with you. Ultimately, it's a valuable point on the board.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a good point. We'd have taken a draw before the game. We'd have taken a draw probably at half time. But I just feel a little bit frustrated because there were 3 points there up for the grabs. It feels like we've lost 2 points, even though a point is a great point, especially at this stage of the season. But I don't know. I just felt too many players had enough night to night, and if we'd have been on his A game, if we'd have played like we did on Saturday, we'd have got all 3 points, because I felt Sheffield Wednesday were there to be beaten. I thought first 20 minutes we start well, got in some good positions, and then the goal came at run a play, and then they just got 11 men behind the ball and frustrated us. So it's a good point. As I say, frustrated that we didn't get all 3, because they definitely were there, for 3 points tonight.
What was your take on the game, Foxy?
Yeah, I'd echo that, really. I think there was 3 points to be had there. I think it's always difficult when teams sit off you a bit like that and sort of let us have possession and plenty of the ball at the back. And when you go one down to them sort of teams, it can be really difficult, because they get 11 men behind the ball, they sit back, they sit deep, and at times it's hard to break down. So I think conceding the goal when we did, I think that was, the longer it stays 0-0, I think you'd fancy us. But as soon as they get 1-0 up, they've got something to hang on to. And it took a set piece for us to get back in the game. I don't think we created enough from open play. I think we were a threat from set plays, but in terms of open play chances, I just don't think we quite had enough to break down a team that was sat behind the ball. And like Booby said, I think there was 3 points to be had there, and it looked like especially with where they are in the league, to not get beat off them. I think you take the point.
Why do you think that was, Foxy? Was it a case of movement when we had the ball? There were a lot of times that the back three, especially in the first half, had the ball at their feet and they didn't really have many options. Do you think it was that movement that we needed to get right, or to kind of work on to create those chances?
Yeah, I think it's definitely movement. Like I say, it's difficult when they have 11 behind the ball, but you got to work. I think you just got to move the ball quicker. You got to play side to side. You got to shift it, 1-2 touch, try and draw them out if you can. And I don't think it wasn't one for trying. I think they were running, but it was difficult. It was tough to break. They were tough to break them down. I think, like you say, if we were more fluid, more sharp with our passing, more incisive, passing forward quicker, that all those sort of things help when you got a team that sit back like that.
I think we want to be too pretty as well, don't we, Foxy? At times, we want everybody's coming to feet, everybody's showing for feet. And when you've got 11 men that behind the ball there, it's difficult, like you've said. So it ended up going back to us back three, especially in the first half, and they had nothing on because everybody were coming forward. Sometimes you've just got to stick it in the corners, stick it, get them turned, and win throw-ins and that, or get them, at least push them back 20, 30 yards into their defensive quarter. And sometimes you've got to play ugly. And I think we always like to play the nice, pretty football to feet. But everybody's going one way. Everybody's coming towards the ball. And we didn't have anybody going beyond their defence. I know we didn't have the pace with like Benza there or Aaron Moore there, but still sometimes we've still got to try and get them turned and then get bits. You've got Dwayne's long throw, like Naby Sarr, 1, 2 or 3 flick-ons. He'll always be a danger. And then you start getting bits in the box. So sometimes I think we try and be way too pretty, where sometimes you've just got to be a little bit more uglier.
Yeah, and you earn your space then. You get them turning, you get them running back, and then spaces open up then. I think, like you say, you got to maybe keep them guessing a bit, get that running behind, get them defence dropping off a bit, and then spaces will open up for your players to try and get on the ball in midfield with a bit more space then.
I suppose on that, Boothie, when Yaya Sanogo came on, he gave us a different option. He was quite effective, wasn't he, especially in the air? Yeah.
Well, that's it. He's a big lad, isn't it? And then it takes a bit of pressure off Fraser, and you've got a target there where you can just stitch it up there, and he might not win every flick, but he'll challenge for him. So you go behind him in case he wins it. But then you've got your Lewis or Ogge or Pacuna coming in front and getting the bits and going round him because you know the centre half's not going to get a full header on the ball and head it 20 yards over your midfield. So we did have an outlet, but even though there was still sometimes we turned it down, and I'm thinking just stick it in. He'll challenge for it, will Sanogo. That's his game, and you never know what happens. Like where the goal came from. Good free kick. Nabisar goes in with it. We end up scoring, and sometimes stick it in there, and then get the bits. But a lot of times tonight we just turned out and then back to a centre halves again. And that's what Sheffield Wednesday were happy with. That they were 1-0 up, and the more possession our centre halves had, the happier they were.
Yeah, let's talk about that goal now, Foxy. It was an excellent delivery, wasn't it, from Isaac and Benza, and Naby's such a threat in those positions.
Yeah, Isaac's got good quality. He's shown good quality all season, even with his free kicks, his corners, his wide. He's got good quality, and fair play to Naby. I thought, well, for most of the season, and especially tonight, in both boxes, I thought he was really good. Like from the long throws, he was making a nuisance of himself, but he was the only one attacking the ball. He was there. He wanted to win it. He wanted to get something on it, and fair play to him. I think he's been a real bonus, a real plus point this season in terms of how he attacks corners, free kicks, but in both boxes. And I think, yeah, like I say, we didn't create enough from free play. So I think, to get a goal from a set piece, I think that was probably our main threat all evening, really.
Yeah, when you don't create too much, Boothie, you need that little bit of fortune, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. And that's what happened. Wasn't it? But you said Nabisar got in there. He gambled. He got on the end of it, like Fox says. He's been doing that all season. And to be fair to Fraser followed up as well and put the pressure on the lad who put it in. So yeah, sometimes, well, you take anything, don't you? But at least we gambled. At least we put it in that box, and it showed we got something. And it would have been a travesty if we'd have come away with nothing, because even though we didn't play well, we deserved at least a point.
Yeah, there didn't really seem like there was too much between the sides. We were talking amongst ourselves in the press box, and actually said probably two months ago we'd have gone behind against Sheffield Wednesday. They'd have sat off us, and we probably would have come away with 0 points. It shows the kind of transition and the character and desire that the lads have got at the minute, Foxy.
Yeah, you hope that's the case. I think especially when you're getting down towards the business end of the season, that this is where you roll your sleeves up, and this is where you get your goals from set plays, and this is where you have to be a bit ugly at times, and you have to chuck Sanogo on with 20 to go, because that's what the games are like now. You're getting, it's 10 games to go, whatever it is, and points are really valuable, and taking points off people around you becomes really important. So you've got to do that. You have to dig in. You go down. You have to take it on the chin, and you can't roll over. It means too much at the minute. It's really important, to back up that 3 points we had at the weekend, get another point. That's 4 from 2 away games, which is not a bad return. And all of a sudden the table looks a bit better, and you got to go again. It's that part of the season now where teams put runs together at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be. You can't feel sorry for yourselves. You go goal down. It's vital. You get back in the game as soon as you can and take something from those games.
And I think the players knew how big a game this was. They're coming off a QPR victory, fantastic win. So it took a little bit of pressure off them. But they knew as long as they didn't lose today, they keep Wednesday down there. So especially as well, they've got 3 weeks break now. So if they'd have had a bad week, then we would have started to worry. But these 4 points have been massive. So I think the players today knew how big a game it was, and they had to make sure they got something. And you did, it showed the character, didn't they? Like probably say 2 months ago, they probably come away with a 1-0. But I always felt they still had enough to get back in the game. And obviously I didn't see the celebrations after, but I'm sure Huddersfield will be the much happier team walking off that pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Foxy, we'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday's goal now. Ultimately, defensively, it was too easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And look, they've not been a threat all night. I didn't think they were going to cause us any problems. And like I say, it was just that one sort of little bit of quality from Jordan Rhodes who's put him through. And yeah, it was too easy. And it's always frustrating when you can see goals like that because they've not had to work for it. You know, they've not really opened you up with all these passing plays. And, you know, it was sort of that one ball through and they've scored. And we don't seem to be able to score goals like that at the minute. We have to work pretty hard for ours. And to have a goal going like that, especially with, you know, it's the only real chance the game they've had. And yeah, that was a real frustrating one, I think, to concede a soft goal like that.
What do you think we could have done better in that situation? Was it just a lapse in concentration for half a second, not being on your toes? What do you think we could have done better? Could we have shut the pass down faster, for example?
Yeah, you can dissect it all you want. There'll be loads of things. You could go back to 30 seconds. There'll be lots of things in the build-up to that goal that will frustrate the manager. They'll sit down with the players and say, look, you know, you can't be letting him in like that. You can't be having a free run at goal like that. We've got 3 centre halves on the pitch, and look, it shouldn't happen. I think the players will hold their hands up. They know that's too easy. And like you say now, though, you know, there's a long break now, and I think the players will need that. I think it's important now that they sort of switch off for a bit and re sort of energise themselves, ready for that final push.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before that goal, Boothie, there was a big talking point. Obviously, the penalty appeals after Fraser Campbell seemed to be brought down in the box. What was your take on that?
Obviously, Fraser's reaction, he thought it was a definite penalty, which as a striker, if I'd have been there, I'd have been up, and that's a definite. To be honest, I've not seen it again. There were no replays, so I've only seen it on real time, and I thought, I was looking at the ref, it would have 50-50. I've seen him giving it, and I've seen him not. He was in a good position with Fraser, and I thought, can you tip first time, like, can you tip there? And he's obviously checked inside, and as the defender read it and put a little bit of block on it. So to be fair, I thought Sheffield Wednesday could have had a couple of penalties. If you're giving that one, then you've got to give definite one for Sheffield Wednesday as well later on in the game. So no, 50-50 on that. There's been times where we have had 2 or 3 definite penalty shouts this season, but I thought that one, no, I've seen him giving it, and I've also seen him not. So I can understand why the referee's not giving that.
And Boothie mentioned it there, Foxy. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday had a penalty appeal as well. That probably looked like a spot kick. Yeah,
I think when he's not given the first one, I think it's always going to be a difficult one to then give that one. Yeah, it's one of those when it's with you, you're shouting for it, you're screaming for it. It's a definite pen, and when it's not, I don't think either were real, you know, stone wall penalties. I think there's certainly arguments for both cases, and obviously when it's with you, you want it to be with you, and vice versa, really. So I thought the ref done well. To be fair, I thought he didn't really notice in the game. I thought he, you know, couple of times, but other than that, I thought he was fine. He was fairly fair with everyone, and yeah, I think he set the tone with that first one. You know, if you're not giving that, I think it'll take something a bit more to give a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. And Boothie, you touched upon it earlier. With 4 games unbeaten, now going into a 17-day break before our next fixture, the lads will be going into that break with a good amount of confidence, won't they, before the final 9 games?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's been a big week. This in the season, you'll look back and these 2 games have been massive. Yeah, the 2 draws obviously help, but it was so important to get something. If we'd have not got anything this week, and then you say you're going to such a long break, then your confidence is low. Other teams around you are playing games, and luckily for us, they're not winning which is great. Results again went well for us this week. But all it takes is 2 or 3 other teams below you to get a win when you're not playing, and then you put your pressures back on us again. I'm sure Carlos will get them on the training. I'm sure he'll give them a bit of a rest. Actually, they've had a lot of football this season, and it's been Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, practically all season. So this break comes at a good time, and obviously we've got quite a few injuries. So obviously Foxy will probably know more than me, but maybe we'll be able to get a few of the lads who we've not seen for a few weeks, a few months, back in the squad, because it's still going to be a tough running. If we're going to be honest, we probably need 4 points to be definite safe. I think we were on about it yesterday, but 50 points. It's not going to get to 50 points this year. So yeah, it's important that we've had a good week, a long break now. Let the lads refresh for the last 10 games of the season, and hopefully a few of the lads will be back, and you get them back. The squad's stronger because the young lads that have come in have done it ever so well, and they're starting places on the bench. So now there's a lot of competition for places.
Yeah, absolutely. And Foxy, just finally with you, like we said, 17-day break. The rest and recuperation is really important, and so are the extra days on the training pitch ahead of what will be a hectic schedule coming to the end of the year. Yeah,
well, it's that. I think a lot of clubs will be doing it now. It's that mentally just switching off, even if it's just for 2 or 3 days, just to get away from things, because it's been really, like Beaver says, it's been relentless. It's been Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. They've been in all the time, and I think you don't need a 2-week trip to Magaluf, but it's just a couple of days just to recharge the batteries. And like you said, you get some players back. We've got, if you think about the game today, if you chuck in Toffolo, Eiting, Karoma, they've got quality. That was what was missing today. It was that real quality, that end product that they've got. They're technicians, and especially Carell in the middle, and Josh has got a goal. They're big players for us, and you take them out of your team and it becomes difficult. So getting them back, whether they'll be fit in 17 days or not, I'm not sure. But, at some point they'll have a part to play, and all of a sudden things look a bit stronger. So get a few days rest, get back on the training ground, get together and get ready for that big final push to like Brewy says, to get them points that we'll need to put this season, put it to bed.
Absolutely. A bit of a break now before we return to action. Boothie, Foxy, thank you very much for joining us, and Town fans, thank you for watching.